The federal leaders' debates were supposed to be about the politicians on the stage discussing their plans for the future of Canada. Instead, these debates exposed the corruption of the media, and thanks to you and your generous donations at rebelinvestigates.com, we have some documents that show the cover-up, but not yet all the details. Let's roll back the hands of time first, shall we? Rebel News had to fight twice in court to get accredited by then Trudeau's hand-selected cronies at the Debates Commission. And we won both times, in 2019 and in 2021. Fast forward to 2025. The commission knew if they fought us, they would lose again. So under the threat of a third courtroom defeat, they finally capitulated and gave us access to the debates on April 15th and 16th. That should have been the end of it in a normal country. But to the legacy media, this was just the beginning of their childish little tantrum.
There was some sort of an altercation inside there in the last little while involving Ezra Levant, who is the head of Rebel News, and other journalists.
The CBC and their deranged friends in the mainstream media could not handle the idea that independent journalists might be able to ask some real questions that people actually care about. So they acted like unhinged buffoons for 2 long days straight.
Look at all of you. What journalistic rationale is there to have this many people in the room? What journalistic rationale is there?
There's not 13 of us.
Yeah. There absolutely are 13 of you. There absolutely are. I saw Cian Bexty coming over to Ezra throughout the debate. Cian Bexty, who supposedly has a different media outlet, was taking direction from Ezra.
You're wrong. Cian Bexty doesn't work for Rebel News.
So why did he come over to you 3 times for direction during the debate? He showed you he showed you his phone.
These people heckled our reporters in the media line in textbook workplace harassment inside of a federally regulated workplace.
Oh, was that like when it was in black and white saying you should only have one reporter accredited so that everyone might have a chance to ask a question? But instead, you wanted to take, 2-minute long questions so that Poilievre only got asked 3 questions. He usually allows 4 because things move a little bit quicker at his press conference. You guys are so verbose, I'll say. Most of us didn't get a question. And what I really don't enjoy is that everyone else here was being respectful, following the rules, just being considerate to everyone else. And what you guys decided to do was to take advantage, threaten to sue, so that you could try to get more than everyone else. When did the CBC get 4 questions?
Yesterday.
Yes, after they had already told it to you because you threatened to sue.
Inside the media room, they turned democracy into an absolute zoo.
Q&A canceled. Because of you, we can't ask questions on behalf of the public. Because you wanted to have a media circus, Ezra.
And when they couldn't get us kicked out, the commission caved to their pressure and canceled the post-debate scrum on the second night altogether, punishing every accredited journalist just to keep Rebel News and other independent journalists from doing our jobs.
The post-debate scrums were dominated by right-wing media groups who flooded leaders with questions on topics unrelated to the debate. One did ask Carney if he felt Trudeau was a good prime minister. Carney said that he was and that they have shared values, including taking care of Canadians, reconciliation and equality.
Congratulations, Ezra.
That deadline is April 22nd. I'm Michel Cormier, the Executive Director of the Leaders Debates Commission. And I'm sorry to announce that there will be no scrum tonight with the leaders because we don't feel that we can actually guarantee a proper environment for this activity.
And now, thanks to 88 pages of internal emails obtained through access to information, we know a bit more about why it happened and a lot about what they're desperate to hide. In fact, these people sent about 11 emails per day about little old us. The emails show CBC's anchors and executives weren't really acting like journalists. They were acting like lobbyists, actively lobbying the Debates Commission.
Well, there's only so much we can do to control free speech, you know.
Now, here's what the documents show about CBC anchor David Cochrane. Cochrane emails the commission on April 22nd, a week after the drama. The subject line trail shows him writing at 10:20 a.m. The body, of course, is wiped under section 68.1. That's the journalism exemption. But I don't think he was doing a story a week later on what went down at the debates. CBC editor-in-chief Brodie Fenlon immediately sets up a private call with David Cochrane. He says, "Hey, David, can you and I chat one-on-one? Can we talk at 12:30? I'll set up a video call." Interestingly enough, Brodie Fenlon puts his pronouns in his email signature. Commissioner Michel Cormier replies directly to Cochrane. The substance is redacted for some reason. And he says, "Dear Mr. Cochrane, sincerely, Michel Cormier, Executive Director, Leaders Debates Commission." Now, it just wasn't Cochrane lobbying the Debates Commission. Rose-Marie Barton writes the commission the morning after the debate. "Dear Mr. Cormier and other members of the Debate Commission," with Cochrane and Fenlon CC'd, and the meat is redacted again under section 68.1. Fenlon forwards Barton's note internally to senior CBC Radio Canada brass. CBC Chief of Staff Kenny Yum is active across multiple threads on the issue. He says, "Hello, we got this inquiry," and then the details are masked with blocks withheld under section 68.1 and section 21B. That's third-party commercial information. And now, what did Commissioner Michel Cormier do in all of this? Well, he went on CBC and badmouthed us.
Well, there's only so much we can do to control free speech, you know.
I understand that.
And you gotta understand that?
But, lifeguards got to look after the pool, right? And the debate commission was set up for this. And people are now calling for it to be completely scrapped because of what we saw last night.
And instead of defending fairness in these emails, he thanked the crazy liars at the CBC for their quote-unquote professionalism. Professionalism. Imagine calling it professionalism to lie on air about Rebel News, to brand us disruptors when we hadn't disrupted a thing, to deny us the right of reply, and smear our colleague Drea Humphrey by falsely claiming remains of Indigenous children had been found across the country. That's not professional. That's propaganda.
There's three right-wing, very right-wing media, we can call them media, websites that are present in there. They get in line to ask a question like anybody else. Their accreditation has been approved by the Commission of Debates, and so they get the right to stand in line and ask a question that they choose to ask. In this case, you saw Mr. Singh, and this has been his position for some time, to refuse to answer questions. Rebel News in particular traffics in misinformation, facts, lack of facts, and as you heard in that question, which was woven with some truth and some things that weren't true. Yes, there have been burnings of Christian Catholic churches. Yes, there have been remains of Indigenous children found in various places around the country, which she misrepresented.
And it's just bad journalism. Drea never got an apology, and the CBC quietly corrected their lie in a hidden web page. But the primetime falsehood stands to this day. Viewers noticed, and CBC's own ombudsman admitted complaints about their debate coverage spiked higher than the previous 3 months combined, with many having merit. And the redactions in these records tell their own story. Look at the blackouts. When they use Section 19 to hide the staff phone numbers, fine. Nobody needs Rose-Marie Barton's cell number. But when whole pages of substance are hidden under Section 68.1, the so-called journalism exemption, that's a cover-up. Barton's complaints to the commission weren't journalism, it was whining. David Cochrane's pressure emails weren't programming notes, and Michel Cormier's replies, he doesn't even work for the CBC. So why would his words be protected under a journalism exemption? The only thing those black bars are protecting is collusion. And here's how we know we don't have the whole story yet. Nowhere in these 88 pages is there a copy of the Independent Press Gallery's condemnation of the commission's behavior. Nowhere is my own formal complaint, which is filed directly with the commission. Those are official records. They were sent. They should be in the file. So why aren't they there? Surely the CBC knew about them. Perhaps they've hidden them under those bogus Section 68 journalism redactions. Either way, it proves the disclosure just isn't complete. And that's why we're appealing, because unlike the CBC, ill-behaved repeaters who trade access for government handouts, we're actually real journalists. We don't invent conspiracies, we follow the facts, and right now those facts are being buried with black ink. The Independent Press Gallery has already condemned the suppression of press freedom. My formal complaint on behalf of our team lays it out. Rebel News followed every rule. We were accredited properly. We fought and went in court to be there. The Commission's duty was to protect fairness. Instead, they bent to CBC's lobbying and failed in their mandate. So here's the truth. What's done in the dark will be seen in the light. Canadians saw the smear campaign live during the debates. They filed their complaints. And now, thanks to these ATIP records and more I will receive, they can see the collusion, the redactions, and the lies, even through all that black ink. The CBC isn't a broadcaster anymore. They're $1.5 billion lobby group masquerading as journalists. And the Leaders Debates Commission isn't impartial. They are complicit cowards. The question isn't whether they lied. I think that's settled. The question is whether Canadians will let them keep getting away with it. For Rebel News, I'm Sheila Gunn-Reid. If you'd like to help me appeal these redactions and get the full, complete document package about CBC's communications with the Debates Commission, please consider making a donation at rebelinvestigates.com.